Please welcome Sun Senior Vice President, Cloud Computing, and Chief Sustainability Officer, Dave Douglas.
All right. Oh, awesome. Well, there's a great crowd out there. It's great to see everybody. Hope you enjoyed a little clip. It's that comes from a thing that's on the web right now. It's by an artist named Kudaman, and it's at throughyou.com. And basically, he's got effectively a whole album, and it's made up of a mashup of individual YouTube things that he's found on the web. So there's a little kid playing a trumpet. Well, if you go click and follow that through, there's a kid who plays his whole trumpet solo on the web. Kudaman took all these individual random YouTube things and mashed them up into a whole album of music that's just fantastic. So definitely take a look at it. My kids were watching it all weekend. Decided this embodies what communities are about. In fact, in this case, there's people who didn't even know they were part of Kudaman's community who participated. So it's a very cool thing. So take a look at that. We're really, really excited to have you all here today. Those of you who are here in the room, and also this is being webcast around the world. Just a quick check before I came on stage. We had folks from Japan and Estonia and the Netherlands involved. I guess the Netherlands haven't forgiven us for beating them in the World Baseball Classic recently. So although they may not have even noticed, I'm not sure people here noticed. But it's going to be a great day. We've got 36 different sessions going on throughout the day, and there's going to be demos going on. A lot of folks have stuff set up outside here. In addition, at the end of the day, we'll have some adult refreshments here and a nice panel discussion, so you get a chance to have a beer and spend some more social time with folks. Tomorrow, there's 3 deep dives, one on MySQL, one on Web 2.0, and one on Java EE and SOA. So hope you get a chance to stick around tomorrow and dive a little deeper into a couple topics. But either way, I'm sure you're going to find this is extremely valuable. A couple of quick thank yous. First of all, thank you to all of you who are here in person and on the web. In these days, with this economy, I think I'm finding my time's becoming more and more valuable, and you spending your valuable time with us really, really means a lot, and we thank you. Hope you find it all worthwhile. Secondly, thanks to all the speakers who are involved in this. We've got experts from Sun, experts from some of our big partners, experts from other random companies, a lot of open source projects. I think you're going to really find the folks who are presenting here know their stuff. You're going to learn a lot listening to them and appreciate their time in preparing this. This really, truly is a community event. It's just people spending their time and energy to do something useful, which is great. Finally, we've got a number of people helped us sponsor this. Really appreciate Intel and AMD's support in this event, and a number of other sponsors and partners who you'll see throughout the venue and throughout the day. So, thanks to all those folks as well. I'll just do a little bit up front here and set the stage. Obviously, I'm dying to talk about cloud computing today with you, so we'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, I just want to set the stage, and this partly comes from the other half of my job. So I'm Sun's Chief Sustainability Officer, and I worry about our environmental impact. I worry about all the natural resources we use, worry about our energy usage, and just generally our effect on society, and have ended up over the last bunch of years spending more time personally thinking about, what is the relationship between technology and society, between individual engineers in society or developers in society. Just wanted to kind of share some thoughts with you this morning to put some context around that. I actually have a book coming out soon. Greg Papadopoulos, Sun's CTO, and I have been working on a book called Citizen Engineer, just trying to capture some of the, what's it mean to be an engineer in the 21st century? What's the responsibility and so forth of folks, and what do people have to know that's new? Our CEO, Jonathan Schwartz, has a saying, innovation loves a crisis. And I think this is great. We've seen time and time again through history, and especially, it was hard to see at the time, but when you look backward, you saw whenever there was kind of a crisis, some new major ideas emerged out of it that had profound effects going forward, or some new companies showed up that became major industry players, or whole new industries were formed during times of crisis. And so, it's a great time in that way, even with all the challenges in our world, to be an innovator. But what I want to do is flip that around today and say, crisis also loves an innovation. We've got some huge challenges today. Obviously, the economy, I think first and foremost of all our minds, but the lack of a strong economy hurts us, our ability to go tackle sustainability issues, to tackle poverty and education and health issues. And, there's plenty of challenges in the world for us to go. And the truth is, beyond that, right now people want to feel better, and, they want to have an idea that there's going to be some cool things in the future. I want to have a reason to, really believe in what goes on going forward. And I think, we are all in a really, really unique position to help people think forward, to think about what's possible, not just what the reality of what they live in today. So I thought, the next obvious step of this would be, crisis loves an innovator, but the truth is, the way we all know today, it's not going to be one single person's idea that really makes a difference. It's, in fact, communities that gather together and go tackle the types of problems we have. These aren't simple problems. They aren't going to, somebody in here may have a brilliant idea, and God bless you if you do, but, more and more, it's really those of us coming together to tackle problems. And that's why I think it's just such a great time to be having this event. So, one thing I want you to just think about today as you go through and hear about this, you meet people, is, the technology part of this is great. We all do our day jobs. We work in communities. We see the power of communities. But we can have a profound effect in the broader communities we play in our schools, in our towns, in government, in NGOs, in nonprofit organizations, just bringing what we know how to do, what we understand about the power of communities out to those. So as you meet people today, maybe you'll find somebody who's had a passion around tackling a problem that you do, and hopefully you'll connect up. This will be a great opportunity. Or maybe you'll see a technology idea and go, hey, that could help me with this problem I've been trying to work on at my church or at my kid's school, and be able to bring some of these ideas out. Because now more than ever, we are in many ways in times of crisis, and crisis loves the community. And the power of the folks in this room is just, I think amazing. We need to go see what we can do. So hopefully it gives you something to think about through the day. This area, as you can tell, I care a lot about this stuff. And really, this is just, for me, just such a great opportunity to spend time with you all. So with that, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about some cloud technology, which is something we've been waiting to do for quite a while. Everybody's obviously talking about clouds. You can't pick up a trade magazine or anything. It's clouds this, clouds that, all kind of different words and ideas. Everybody, a lot of companies that you thought were in market A are now in the cloud market, which is always fun to see. Something's hot when companies are rebranding themselves as in that space. A lot of different ideas, but we really see when you boil it down for developers, there's some fundamentally important things here that about clouds and what's possible. First of all, we think clouds truly will bring a level of freedom of choice to developers that they haven't had today. Cloud computing in general, inside an enterprise or outside, the ability for me to go deploy, put up the images I want, work with the platforms I want, lower the barriers to doing that, lower the times, lower the costs. Those are all important things, factor into a big difference in freedom of choice. And what really is powering that are the next three. First of all, self-service and provisioning. The idea that, geez, I need a few machines to do something. I can just go get those up, maybe take me 15 minutes. It's not a 12-week process where I have to fill out some forms in triplicate and make a request to the IT department to do that. Big change in developers' views of what's possible. Second, the ability to scale up and scale down. I think fundamentally changes the economics of computing for developers. And we'll talk, some of the things we'll demo today and talk about, we'll give you a sense of that. And finally, that just leads to, you really only want to pay for what you use. When I start a project, I don't want to imagine, well, I could be wildly successful, so I've got to go spend all this money, all this capital up front. I really want to just pay. As I grow, I'll pay more. If my thing kind of tops out and shrinks a little bit, I want to pay less, or Christmas ends or whatever. I want to pay for what I use, and that's the reality of it. And when you look at this list of things, these are some fundamental shifts in what's possible for a developer to do, and we think really lead the way to a fundamentally different viewpoint of how we develop things, how we maintain them, how fast can we go, and how little can it cost to get new things started. Sun, this is space we've been playing in for a long, long time. In 1984, came up with a tagline, "The network is the computer." At that time, I think a lot of people kind of said, huh? I don't get what that means. Today, it's probably, people go, yeah, of course. So it's been a huge fundamental change for us over 25 years, but this has been the focus of the company day in and day out through that whole time. So what does Sun, having been through cloud network computing all this time, how do we view what's happening in clouds? First of all, we think there's ultimately going to be many, many clouds. There's people out there saying, well, we're going to be in a battle between 2 or 3 giant cloud vendors. We fundamentally don't believe that's true. There's going to be public and private clouds. There's going to be clouds tuned up for different application spaces. There's going to be clouds that are sitting behind firewalls that are serving communities of people who you may not even know what they do. There's going to be clouds that are done geographically, either for political reasons, for legal reasons, that they're going to be located in very specific places. At the end of the day, there's going to be many, many, many clouds. And we believe for this to really take off, these clouds, we have to get to the point that there's a sense of openness and compatibility. All of us in the room who have been developers, in my case, in the past, or are developers today, what really gets exciting is I can develop something and then go think of deploying and making it available to many, many clouds and helping lots of people solve problems. That's where the power of this and the huge scale starts to make happen. Ian Murdoch is on my staff. He's the Ian and Debbie, and spent a lot of time on how Linux distributions should be done. And he's really getting us to think forward about what's it mean? How do we think into the future about how we develop software for this many, many clouds world? And I think this is going to be a hugely exciting topic over the next few years. So that's view of what's going on in the cloud. And today what you're going to hear us start talking about is our approach. And the core of that is a new platform we're calling the Sun Open Cloud Platform. This is a platform targeted at kind of the infrastructure as a service layer, if you're into kind of the layers of cloud computing. And the idea is this is the sets of core technologies, the core APIs, the core protocols that we intend to proliferate through as many clouds as possible, through as many means as possible. And today you're going to hear some examples about how we're starting to do that, and we're going to talk a little about what the cloud platform is. In addition to that, today we're going to start for the first time talking about what we're calling the Sun Cloud, which is the first instance of our cloud platform. This is going to be a public cloud we're running for developers, startups, students, folks at enterprises who are starting to tinker with this stuff. And this cloud will be up. We'll give you a little more details on the timing and stuff later on, but we'll give you some glimpses of it and some of it running today. In fact, we're using it increasingly more on a day in and day out basis inside Sun. So again, we've got a common platform. The idea, again, part of the many clouds vision, we're going to be pushing this out to as many places as possible. And on top of that, the very first instance of that's going to be the Sun Public Cloud, which we'll be showing you some details of today. At Sun, we've got a lot of the pieces that we think enable this to happen. In the upper left are products and technologies. I'll tell you, having been architecting and building clouds out for the last few months in detail, our new our open storage boxes are just a killer component in any cloud storage solution. On the right-hand side, expertise and services. This is just our experience in data centers, our experience in working with large deployments. You see TAC on there. It's one of the biggest supercomputer centers in the United States. The lower right, the open communities we work with. These are just kind of a multi-angled approach for us. First of all, many of these become core platforms of the cloud. Glassfish, the basis of Java EE in the cloud. ZFS, the basis of storage in the cloud, and so on and so forth. So the communities become important parts there, but in many cases these are also on-ramps. Anybody using OpenOffice, as you'll see, we want to be able to make use of the cloud easily and have the cloud add value to OpenOffice and have OpenOffice add value to the cloud. So every one of our communities that we're involved in we see as both benefiting the cloud and being part of its future. And finally, I think one of the most exciting things you're going to see today as we go through this is some of the partners we're starting to get around the cloud. I think people know Sun as an open company. somebody that's easy to partner with, someone that's willing to share technology and designs, and that's carrying forward. We're finding tons of excitement among partners that we've had for years and years, and even some new partners in this cloud space. And you'll meet some of those today, and we'll talk about kind of where we're going with that.